In this video, I'm going to be giving you the exact step-by-step blueprint behind how exactly I write emails that I can sell for over $300 each. And not only have I done it, but many other students in the 4D copywriting server have done it as well. So why would you even want to write all these emails that you can sell for $300? And how do you do it? Well, don't worry, because we're going to be getting into that as well. So with all that being said, let's not waste any time. Allow me to pull back the curtain and show you the exact step-by-step writing process that you can use, whether it's your first email and you're just starting copywriting, or you are a seasoned veteran and you want some new strategies and tactics. So let's check it out. So as you can see here, watch me write $300 emails from scratch. We're going to be going over the bird's eye view, okay? And just going over what the process is. Then I have 3 potential clients right here that I'm going to be writing 3 emails for each. So that's 9 total emails that I'm going to be writing right in front of your eyes. And then, of course, I'm going to be giving you guys the next steps on exactly how to get your first $1,000 client in 15 days from now, regardless of your starting point, whether you haven't started yet before, or you have started and you're being a little bit inconsistent, or you haven't found any clients yet, or if you've been going at it for a while now and maybe you already have a client and you want to get your next $1,000 client. All of those situations are going to get value from this last part right here. So let's just start at the brass tacks, the bird's eye view. What is the process? Well, before we will hop right into things, I want to show you guys something important here, and it is the free copy starter kit. Guys, inside the free copy starter kit, as you can see, you get the ultimate outreach playbook, which is a bunch of templates. You get a whole bunch of video courses here as well, including the free 4-hour course and a whole bunch of email courses as well. And I mean, you essentially just get everything, okay? You essentially just get everything, and it's all free. Now, the link for that is going to be down below in the description. You're not going to want to miss it. And a lot of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video, things like templates, they're all downloadable there. I wouldn't want to put it in the description because it would literally just look like link, and that's not what we want. So I've put it all together right here. Now, how writing simple emails can change your life. It's changed my lives and it's changed the lives of some others. But here's exactly how. Look, guys, email marketing has a one-to-one nature that's able to revolutionize how people make money online. People ask me all the time, well, Tyson, I don't really read all these emails, or I don't buy anything from emails in my inbox. Well, first and foremost, you want to step out of your own shoes, because maybe that's true. Maybe you have never bought anything online from an email. But the fact of the matter is the data all corroborates this, okay? So some people sell on their social media. You'll always see this, hey, yeah, buy this, buy that, enter my coaching program or whatever, right? On social media, and email trumps it every single time. Email is what really prints cash for most of these businesses. So we'll go through some of the actual key data points here. So email versus social media. As you can see, email has a 15 to 25% open rate, and that is honestly pretty modest. The open rate on my email list, where I have almost 70,000 subscribers, well over 35%, right? The high 30%. Social media, you're only reaching about 2 to 4% of the people who actually follow you / subscribe to you. Next of all, the click-through rate, meaning how many people actually click on the link or click on what you want them to click on, is almost triple with email than it is with social media. Conversion rate, again, almost triple, and the ROI is staggeringly more than social media. This means that for every $1 you put into email, on average, you're getting $36 back. And for every $1 you're putting into social media, on average, you're only getting $1.80 back. Okay. But that's not the only example that I want to share with you guys. Next, of course, is Ali Abdaal, who is a famous YouTuber who charges over $5,000 per email sent to his email list. So if you don't know, he actually runs his own email list where he's been collecting email addresses for years now. And he doesn't sell anything on there, or maybe he does, I don't know, but he actually charges other companies over $5,000 just to put their link into his emails. Why is that? Well, essentially, it's all a game of numbers, okay? So the business in question is going to pay him $5,000, but they're making tens of thousands of dollars. But who actually writes the emails? It's not Ali Abdaal, because, I mean, it could be him, but he already has other businesses, right? And this is how business people work. They outsource everything. So to pay you $200 or $300 to write an email that he's making over $5,000 for, I mean, he's just chilling, right? And this happens all the time with business owners when they're selling their own product as well. So if Ali is able to charge other companies $5,000 for one email, imagine how much he'd be able to charge if he was selling his own product on there. And that's, again, where email marketing comes in and where you come in, because in this email, I'm going to show you how to sell through emails by using email copywriting. Started writing an email newsletter in his dorm and then sold it a few years later for $75 million. This is Alex Lieberman, who sold his whole email list called Morning Brew, and there was hundreds of thousands of people on it. He was building it over the course of years, and he sold his email list, the email list itself, nothing more than a collection of email addresses, for over $75 million. I mean, need I say more? Emails are literally gold, okay? They are literally just like gold because you can use them to sell and make tons and tons and tons of money. And somebody has to write these emails, and that somebody can be you. And again, I'm going to show you exactly how. So that is exactly how writing simple emails can change your life. But what does it actually look like? What is the blueprint? Well, allow me to reveal it. First of all, how we're going to be writing emails today is, first and foremost, we're going to pick a real entrepreneur. We're going to gather information from their social media so that we can match their brand voice. Again, I'll be explaining all of these further down the line. Then we're going to pick an email structure. All emails are simply just structured, okay? A common phrase that I love to repeat, and I actually got it from Jason Capital, is that copywriting is not written, rather it is assembled. We are essentially going to be assembling all the things that they already say into an email using these structures, okay? So it doesn't really come down to creative writing. You should never have writer's block or be staring at a blank page, okay? So DIC, PAS, HSO, listicle, CJN, etc. If you don't know any of these, don't worry, because I'll be breaking them down step by step as we actually use them. Next, we're going to write a rough draft of the email. So an expression that I like, again, is one that's called write drunk and edit sober. Just write, okay? The biggest form of writer's block is just perfectionism. You're trying to write the perfect email. You're trying to write something great. Give yourself permission to really suck, because the first draft of the email is going to suck. Then you're going to cut it. You're going to improve it. You're going to change things. And then only then will it actually be good. So whenever I go through and write an email, I just write it, right? And you're going to see the exact process, because I'm starting from scratch, starting from blank. I'm going to be writing the email. And then I'm going to be going through it and revising the email, and you're going to see how different the first rough draft is from the final copy. Then, of course, we're going to optimize and revise it using AI, in this case, ChatGPT. And then, of course, we are going to put it through the peer review process by submitting it in the Discord chat so that other people can review it and give us feedback. So with all that being said, below I have three potential clients I'll be writing emails for. Each client will have separate emails written for them consisting of 3 different structures and goals. So essentially, I don't really like to write emails in front of people or give people emails, because the problem is that they just copy and paste it, okay? They copy and paste the words. Whereas I don't want you to copy anything from these emails, not for my sake, because trust me, I don't care. These emails aren't going out anywhere, but for your own sake. It's like, really use your head and adapt it to whatever you're doing instead of just copy and pasting them, okay? Because that's not going to do you any good. And the way that I'm going to combat, right, people just ripping off the emails, I'm going to give you so many emails, and even if people do rip them off, they'll still sound different, okay? That's essentially how I'm trying to protect against that. So I'm going to put that away. As you can see, client 1, client 2, and client 3. So let us just start with client number 1. Client number 1 is our boy, Ravi Abuvala. Now, in case you are unaware, this dude essentially is a business coach. I scale coaching and agency businesses. So this guy is in the business coaching niche. I myself actually started succeeding in the business coaching niche. I mean, I tried a whole bunch of other niches. Now, just because I'm in the business coaching niche, I also don't want you to think that it's super easy or this is the niche to be in. Like, yes, it is profitable, but the downside is that it's rather complex, right? It's rather complex, especially for a beginner who isn't that well versed in business. And I know this very well because I wasn't very good when I first started. We'll put it that way. I didn't know what the business owners were talking about. I found it really complicated and I messed up a whole bunch of times. But again, realistically, the best niche is simply just the one you stick to, okay? The one that you've been in for a year, 3 years, 5 years. That's always going to be the one that actually prints cash for you in the long run. So as we can see here, he has a link in his bio where you can go and click to sign up for his coaching program, and he has some posts. So all I really do is go to his reels over here, I watch a bunch of them and I see what his main points are, okay? And I've already collected a whole bunch of some of his common points. These are things that I can use as angles, right? If you don't know what an angle is, essentially it's kind of just a topic, right? A topic to write about and a roundabout way to get it to where you want, which is pitching something, whether it be follow me on Instagram, whether it be purchase this product or sign up for a sales call so that we can see if you're qualified to get in this program, which is what he does. He runs a high ticket program where essentially he says, hey, if you're a business owner making $30,000 a month, I want to show you how to make $100,000 a month. And all you need to do is go here and schedule a call. He schedules a call. It's a sales call. He says, yo, do you want to get my program for literally usually they're like 10 grand to 20 grand. And then the business owner will say, yeah. And then that's it. Boom. 10 grand to 20 grand from one sign up, from one email. And that's also part of the reason why working with business coaches is pretty nice, because you get them like one sale every once in a while. And it's just like, boom, 10 grand in, boom, 7 grand, 15 grand. So it's pretty awesome. Common points and angles. So these are all things that I wrote out just from listening to like 5 of his videos. Literally took me like not very long, like 8 minutes. Right? So I'm going to go through each one of these so that you have a good idea of what we're working with here. So I have, how many points do I have? 7 simple points. First and foremost, most coaches have to post too much in order to get clients, and it makes them feel like they're trying to be an influencer rather than a coach. And I actually caught this myself. I don't know why there's no spell check on this right now, but I used the wrong there, so I corrected it. The solution is an end-to-end marketing system that generates clients regardless of if you post hyper consistently on social media. So this is essentially right out of his mouth, right? I didn't make this up. I didn't think about it. I'm just taking down common points that he says. And again, this is how you match their brand voice. You're always going to want to match their brand voice because your copy should almost never sound like you. Right? Of course, you have your own style and preferences and stuff, but your copy should sound like them, their points and their thoughts. You might have an awesome idea and an awesome point and an awesome thought, but if it doesn't corroborate with what they're saying, then they're not going to like that, essentially, right? The key to breaking through your business plateau is doing less work and not more. Too many coaches get burnt out and comfortable at their current income when doubling their income rarely means doubling their workload. The solution is a marketing system that allows you to leverage things like ads and softwares to get you qualified appointments on autopilot. Create a system where you put $1 in and $20 back. So essentially, I'm writing down his thoughts, but I'm also writing down his wording, right? For example, an end-to-end marketing system. I had that in here somewhere. I wouldn't call it that. I don't say that, right? That's not in my vocabulary. That's not my colloquialism. It's his. So adding all this stuff in here, again, is essentially just making it so that you can speak just like them. And it sounds like they're writing the email themselves. Common excuses as to why people can't scale their business. I don't have money for ads. I don't have time to put into systems. I can't find a team that I can count on, / I can't find good talent. Now, another thing that's very, very important to note and that you're going to realize as we go through this is that when you get inside of the prospect or the reader's head, when you really, really relate to them a lot, they're going to see you as the expert, okay? And we don't have to do the market research, which is the good part, right? If we were starting from scratch, maybe we should, if we were making our own business and our own product, then yeah, market research is somewhat of a must. But if you're writing for somebody else, 99% of the time, they have all the market research basically planned out for you. All you got to do is listen to how they speak, listen to how they talk, listen to what they say, and boom, you're basically there. You're done. Simple, scalable, paid advertising. That's just a line that he said that I thought would be good to use at some point. Streamline your entire fulfillment process, simplifying it and then putting it into systems so every client is able to get results when they come through. Work-life balance is designed, not found. Over the past few years, I've been able to get my pilot's license, maintain a 10% body fat, and spend an hour at the spa every day. Some business owners feel like they walk away from their business or walk away from their computers and everything will just crumble. Okay, so very important things to start. And I'm going to be taking from basically all this. All this is what I'm going to be using in order to write these 3 emails. So we have a value email, a promotion email, and a story email. So let me do a little bit of explaining here. A value email essentially is just what it sounds like. An email that gives people actionable value that they can use today in order to get results. And then, of course, At the end of our value email, we can either send them to somewhere free, like a free training, right? Or an Instagram or a YouTube video, right? At the end of a promo email, we can send them to a sign up page or a call schedule booking or just a sales page. For a story email, at the end of the story, we can do whatever we want. Promo email is essentially just an email that's promoting their program, right? It's trying to get sales. And a story email is something that is kind of like, it can be either, right? A story email can be promo or it can be value, but essentially it just consists of a story. And the reason why stories are so important is because telling stories is something that is very, very effective in all types of marketing and all types of content creation. People love to listen to stories. Okay, so we're going to write these 3 different types of emails here today. So let's start with, of course, the value email. So I already have the angle picked out and I already have the structure picked out. As you can see, I have a subject line, a couple first lines I was thinking of, and now I'm just going to go. So let's do a little bit of explanation. The angle. Most coaches deal with leads that are broke. Now, also, I need to put this out there. If you're not well-versed in business coaching, this will still all make sense, right? The thing is that, like I said, business coaching is a somewhat complicated niche where you might not know what a lead is or some of this other stuff and you're kind of confused, but bear with me because it will all make sense. Don't worry about the words. Don't worry about the meaning for now. Just actually worry about the ideas. Most coaches deal with leads that are broke, literally have $10 in their bank account. Or they say, let me think about it, or just got on a call, yet they're barely even interested in joining the program, let alone all the no-shows, right? No-shows is a term in business coaching, which essentially means people are booking appointments for a sales call, but they don't actually show up. This sucks, but the solution is the brand new Client Getting System 2.0. That's like his little, that's essentially kind of like his program/training that I just created a free training on. It's a simple marketing system that warms up leads like crazy before they even book the call. So essentially, the angle here and how it works is, hey, I got this free training. The free training essentially shows you what it is, how it works, but not how to set it up. And that's where the magic happens, where he's like, well, if you want us to come in and set it up for you, we can do that. So it's kind of like this, right? If I was like, okay, you want to make a lot more money? Well, the thing is you have to run ads and you're kind of skeptical. You're like, ads? I don't really know. And then you're like, okay, well, look, here's why running ads is the best. Here's some people who have done it before. They've done it like this, and here's how to do it. And now you're like, okay, so ads are the answer. But the person speaking is like, okay, ads are the answer. Yeah, you're right. But to actually set up the ads is a little bit complicated. So I can just do it for you for a fee. And now that you're actually committed to doing the ads, but you don't want to do it yourself, you're like, yeah, okay, for sure, we'll do that. And that's essentially what he's doing here, right? With the video sales letter / free training, in the free training, he's showing you what he's going to do. He's showing you how it works. But the key, again, is to book a call. You book the call. You don't know what the price is yet until the very end of the call. Then he says that it's going to be 10 grand. And then you're like, well, I don't know about 10 grand. But then he's like, well, I'm going to make you like 50 grand. So why not? And then you do it, right? And that's essentially a oversimplified way of how it all works. The structure we're going to be going over is PAS, which stands for problem, agitate, solution. Now, this structure essentially works like this, okay? You start with a problem, then you get very relatable. You tell them how it shows up in their life, and then you can also use a little bit of their fear state, right, as like an emotional trigger, and then you can give them the solution as a link, okay? Now, there's some stuff that is going to be somewhat advanced, but I'll explain it as I go, right? So over here, I talked about fear state when we're going into the agitate. Fear state is one of the 4 stages of emotion, okay? So the 4 stages of emotion. It starts with fear, right? Fear is the long-term bad things that will happen if they don't get their problem fixed. So let's say a fear state for a business owner would be, 5 years goes by, their business shrinks, so they're making less revenue than they were. They're working as much as possible, and they can barely even cover payroll. That's scary for them. Then, next up, you have obstacles. Short-term things that are keeping you from what you want. So, for example, I can't figure out ads, or ads are too expensive, or I don't have money for ads, or I'm having trouble getting qualified booked appointments. Everybody who gets on the call basically is broke. They have $10 in their account, or they just don't want to start. They're just not interested at all. Right? That's the obstacles. And then after fears, obstacles, you have wants. Okay. Wants are essentially the opposite of obstacles. And the last state is dreams, and dreams is essentially the opposite of fears. So wants is, okay, well, what do you want in order to get the next level in the short term? Okay, well, I want to crack paid ads. I want to build a system that makes it so that I don't have to work as much, but I can still double my income. Long term is like, okay, well, I want a business that serves me, that's making hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month, this, that, and the other thing, okay? So hopefully that all made sense. So that's kind of a preface to exactly what we're going to be writing here. So subject line, why your leads are trash. Now, there's a few different subject lines we can go to. This one is rather basic, but we can create a few more if we'd like. So I'm going to do that right now as well, because sometimes what you want to do is what's called a split test. So you can actually send out all 3 of these emails at the same time, see which one performs better, and then just use that one. Okay, so why your leads are trash. Let me just think of some more here as well. Okay, so I just came up with 2 other subject lines. Now, because I haven't actually written the email yet, I don't really have any other things that I can think of, but sometimes after you write the whole email, you can pick out one small part of the email and put that into your subject line. And once I write this email, I'll probably be able to give you a pretty good example of that as well. So when it comes to openers, right, the lead, this is called the lead of your email, the first 3 or 4 lines. You can go a few different ways here, okay? And I always say this, is that copywriting is essentially just like chess, right? You have different openings you can go to, you have different mid games, and then of course you have the end game. If you don't know anything about chess, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. You have a few things that you can do, a few options of how you want to open. Maybe you want to choose the London system, or maybe you want to do some other openings. I'm not a big chess guy, so I don't really know any openings off the top of my head even. But I'm going to show you a couple right here. So when it comes to just starting off with your lead, the number one thing that you're going to want to keep in mind is that you want to disrupt the reader. You want to give them something that's surprising, give them a hook, right? And most people know this because most content you watch always has a hook at the beginning, something to pique your interest, okay? So right here in the hook, I'm giving context and being relatable. There are a few things that you can do. Let's say you want to start with something like a perplexing question. So why is it that other business owners can get sales calls that essentially close themselves? Meaning they get 10 appointments booked and 9 sales. Whereas the rest of the business owners are out here getting 10 appointments booked and no sales. And they just essentially just wasted their time. What is it? I mean, maybe it's this new ad strategy. Maybe it's this new Instagram tactic, or maybe it's this some weird YouTube funnel. Who knows? But here's exactly how we did it. Okay, so that's also a really good intro as well. But for right now, we're just going to start by building context. Generating leads for most coaches is the easy part, but getting ready to buy leads is easier said than done. And now I'm going to do some writing, and then I'm basically just going to cut to where I get some rough drafts done, and I'll be right back. Okay, and after about like 5 to 7 minutes, I am completely done with the rough draft, and I have something here. So let's just go through it, and I'll explain it through you in detail, from structure to word choice to what I did and what I can and am going to improve. So as I go through, I'm going to be revising and showing you the changes I would make. So let's just start. Generating leads for most coaches is the easy part, but getting ready to buy leads is easier said than done. So in this email, I'll give you the simple formula to how you can take your leads from trash to gold. Actually, now that I say it out loud, see, it's really important to say your stuff out loud because you can come up with some cool stuff, and you can also very easily catch grammatical errors and other things that might not sound right. So before I had trash to gold, now I put trash to cash. That's not something I actually thought of before, but now that it kind of rhymes and it's kind of like a saying, almost like something that's like, rolls off the tongue, people like that sort of thing. It's more engaging and people just want to listen to it more. So I'll give you the simple formula of how you can take your leads from trash to cash. Because poor lead quality is something that plagues most business owners and stunts their growth. Okay, so some things to note here. This is what's called a what's in it for me. And usually you want to have your what's in it for me in the first 3 to 5 lines. Right here, you can see it's around line like 3 or 4. And essentially it tells the reader what benefit they're going to get from reading this email. And this is something that so many beginners miss. They write a whole email and they fail to actually specify how writing this email or how reading this email is actually going to help the reader. Okay. So as I say here, I just essentially am relating to them a little bit, and I give them what's in it for me. In this email, I'm going to give you the formula on how you can take your leads from trash to cash. Because poor lead quality is what plagues most business owners and stunts their growth. So this is the problem section right here. And when we get to the what's in it for me, and this is the agitate section. The agitate section, remember, is me describing how exactly it shows up in their life and how it feels. So poor lead quality is what plagues most business owners and stunts their growth. They do everything right, get tons of traffic, book a full calendar of appointments, but when it's time to reel in the cash, they're met with, I think reel as what I mean is actually like this. Boom. When it's time to reel in the cash, they're met with, I need to think about it. I only have $10 in my bank, and the dreaded no-shows. I'll just put no-show appointments. No-show appointments. Again, when people just don't show up. And usually when I do these like quotations, I'll put it in italics because it makes it sound more or look more like a quotation. So boom. I need to think about it. Only have $10 in the bank, or the dreaded no-show appointments. Not only does poor lead quality kill revenue, it also makes the sales team feel as useless as pedals on a wheelchair. Now, would I use this for a client? Perhaps, if it's something I've said before. But in the business world, maybe not. But I just wanted to put it there anyways. If I was sending this to a client, I'd probably leave it out. We know this because it's something we struggled with for months. So I'm speaking as Ravi, and I've had this problem. That's why I know how to fix it, right? Again, when you're able to relate to people, I know exactly what you're feeling because I was there as well. But I learned how to fix it. I fixed it for other people. Now I want to fix it for you and share the same system. That is essentially the angle we're going for here. It felt like an unbreakable plateau. So remember, the goal of the agitate is to essentially describe how it shows up in their life and also how it feels, which is what I'm doing right here. It felt like an unbreakable plateau. I'll put like revenue plateau because that makes more sense. Unbreakable revenue plateau. And that's what a lot of business owners feel, right? So from watching Ravi Abuwala's reels, there's some stuff that I gathered that I didn't necessarily put up here, but it's kind of up here. And one big thing is that business owners always get stuck at a certain dollar amount. Now, to common folk, right, you and me, someone's like, oh, I'm stuck at $40,000. Oh, boo-hoo, they want to get to 60 or 80,000. But to business coaches like Ravi, this is very valuable information. And this is stuff that we can actually use and describe for them so that we're like, we can help you move past that. So it felt like an unbreakable revenue plateau. That's what a lot of them are feeling. But through trial and error, not only did we completely fix our lead issue, but we developed a plug and play, because that's kind of one word, I'll put it as dashed, plug and play system that can improve the quality of leads in any business. It's a simple 4-step process called the Client Getting System 2.0. I'll put that in quotations because that's what it's called. It works by warming up leads to the point that they're ready to buy before they even get on the call. If you want to know how the system works in depth, I've recorded this short training that you can watch here for free. Quick disclaimer, I'll actually go like this because it's a little bit of a long line, right? You want to have the lines kind of more short and punchy. Quick disclaimer, I'll be taking this free training down soon so it's not ripped off by 100 other coaches. And then an emoji there to show that it's not super serious, okay? I know I'm right here actually explaining the meaning of an emoji, but it kind of adds to the email. I'm not a big emoji guy, but this is there so that it's not supposed to be taken too seriously. Click here to watch the free Client Getting System 2.0 training while you still can. Ravi. Boom. And that's basically it. Now, simple emails like this, can it be improved? Yeah, sure. Right now, I'm on video. I'm speaking it through. I'm typing it out. Can it be improved? Yeah, probably. But just a simple email like this is more than good enough to make a ton of money. So now I'm actually going to open up ChatGPT, and show you some ways that I might actually improve this email and get more ideas from it. So essentially, we're going to be sticking to some very, very simple prompts. Okay, so I just need to go like this. Okay, everyone, as you can see, I booted up ChatGPT and my simple prompt was just make this better. Now, if you ever have any grammatical errors or spelling errors or English isn't your first language, this is a mandatory on every email before anybody else ever sees it, okay? Even on your very first email, this simple 4-word prompt is going to be your best friend because it simply will just do all that, right? It really will. So navigating the journey, transforming leads to ready to buy clients. So as you can see, ChatGPT sucks at writing emails. I mean, look at how long this subject line is and how big and blocky everything is. Essentially, you're not going to be able to just copy and paste everything to there, but however, you're going to be able to get a lot of good ideas. So if I find any good ideas, I'll let you guys know, and then I'll actually put them inside of our new email. So as you can see here at the top, what I put is not only does poor lead quality kill revenue, right? Whereas I actually like the ChatGPT version where it says not only dent your revenue, but also, right? I like the word dent more than kill in this scenario, so I'm going to use it. Now, that is a very small example. Sometimes I get a lot of really good ideas from ChatGPT, sometimes not so much. But that was one small instance in where ChatGPT could really help me out. Okay, guys, so now I want to show you another prompt that I created that is a little bit more well thought out. So essentially, I said, make it more simple and engaging and witty. Add more justifications and analogies. And it did just that. And this new version is honestly way better. So, hey, name, ever felt like generating leads was a piece of cake, but turning them into actual sales was like trying to squeeze juice out of a rock? That's a pretty decent analogy, right? That's a pretty good way to describe how difficult something can be. You're not alone. The leap from interested to shut up and take my money is a wide one. And too many businesses are stuck on the wrong side, watching potential sales evaporate faster than a puddle in the Sahara. So as you can see, there's just tons of analogies after analogies. Again, I wouldn't use them all. I would use this for inspiration, but this is a great way to actually get that inspiration. Here's the deal. We've cracked the code. No more I'll think about it. My wallet's on the diet excuses. See, my wallet on a diet is pretty engaging. And definitely no more ghosted appointments that leave your sales team feeling as useful as a chocolate teapot. Introducing your secret weapon to warm up leads, their hot trot, magic wand. Why should you care? Because we've been through the ringer, hit some walls, and felt the sting of rejection too. We tinkered, tested, and triumphed. Special invite, grab your front row exclusive, no charge training session, short, sweet, and packed with juicy details on how to get clients can revolutionize your stuff. So there's a whole bunch of different lines actually that we could add into there just to make it more engaging. But just these 2 prompts alone, very simple, very powerful, right? This can easily turn someone's copy who's like, I don't know, a 3 or a 4 out of 10, all the way up to a 5 or a 6 out of 10, easily. Okay, guys, so I'll leave that as our very first email. Okay, that was our value email. Now I want to move over to the promotion email, which is more salesy and it's more about actually getting into the program. So here's the angle. The angle is you're overworking yourself, and the key to doubling your income is figuring out how to cut your workload in half. It comes down to finding talent as in a team, building a marketing system, and leveraging ads to do the heavy lifting for you. So now I'm going to write an email about this. And the structure we're going to be using is the CJN structure. And this structure works very well. Now that you know it, you'll probably notice it basically everywhere. Every single marketer, every single advertiser, so many people use this. And it's very powerful. And there's a reason for it. Okay. So CJN essentially stands for challenge, justify, and finally need. The words, I made them up, right? I made up the CJN structure, but I mean, I just gave a name to what everybody's already using. So, subject lines, possible ones. Double your income with half the work. Your business doesn't need you. And do you run your business or own it? ? So here's the angle, or here's the thought process between each one of these. So double your income with half the work is something that is rather simple. So when it comes to subject lines, there's a spectrum, and the spectrum ranges from familiar to curious. A familiar subject line is something that's how to get a six-pack in a week, right? Something that's very, very dry, something that is essentially something that someone could just Google if they wanted to know. A curious subject line, something that's too overly curious, is something that has nothing to do with the actual content inside. If I made this subject line, literally, I had a peanut butter jelly sandwich. It's like, what the hell is that about? Why is it in my email inbox, and who cares, right? So that's too curious. But when you add them together, you get something that's curiously familiar. It's both. So for example, your business doesn't need you. You kind of think you know what that means, but you don't really know what it means. What do you mean my business doesn't need me? Do you mean like it can run itself without me? Or do you mean like it just simply doesn't need me, or I'm not good enough for it? Let me open it up and see exactly what they mean. Or do you run your business or own it? And now you're sitting there thinking, run my business or own it? What does that even mean? Maybe I do run my business. Maybe I own my business. I don't know. I want to find out. Okay, so the thought process behind this, or what the content would be about, is essentially your business doesn't need you, as in you need to build a business that can run without you. Okay, and that's how you build what's called enterprise value, and that's how you start to scale. Or do you run your business or own it? Business owners are the ones who own the system. They own the program. They make all the money, and they don't have to, right? They can if they want, but they aren't obligated to actually work inside of the business. If you run your business, then you're the CEO. You're the one that's running everybody. You're the one that's managing the managers, and essentially you wear all the hats at the top, okay? So that's the thought process behind them. So in classic 4D fashion, I'm just going to write this email and get back to you guys. Okay, everybody, and just like that, I have finished our promo email for the CJN structure. So go through some of the subject lines here. Double your income with half the work, or your business doesn't need you, or do you run your business or own it? So the CJN structure essentially works by challenging a widely held belief, okay? So if everybody thinks that doing a bro split, meaning going to the gym, doing arms one day, back one day, legs one day, and chest the next day, right? That's a bro split. Doing a bro split sucks. Everyone out here does a bro split, so they want to know why. What do you think? Doing a bro split is killing your gains, right? You'll see subject lines, and you'll see YouTube videos like that all the time. They get a lot of clicks, and they get a really high impression through click-through rate, because that type of challenge, right? Challenging someone's belief or challenging a widely held belief is a very popular way to actually get attention. Next, we need to justify it. Okay, so you made this claim, but how are you going to convince me of this claim? And essentially, we're not going to justify why they need the product or why they should buy from us, but we need to justify the challenge, right? So what we really do in these emails is we sell the thing that sells the thing. Even in a promo email, I'm not selling the client getting system 2.0, right? Maybe a little bit, but I'm mostly selling the idea that what we have works, right? So you need to have an end-to-end marketing system. This is why. And now you're like, okay, I do need to have one. And if you convince people, if you're able to shift their beliefs from I don't need one, or wherever they're at right now, to I now need an end-to-end marketing system, and you're able to present them with one that can be plug and played into their business, that just seems like the most simple option, then of course you're going to be more likely to buy from you. And that's exactly how we get to the need, which is where the CTA is. So now I'll just kind of show you how it goes. Doubling your income doesn't mean doubling your workload. Again, this is also a rough draft, so I'm going to be going through and improving it as we go through. Doubling your income doesn't mean doubling your workload. In fact, 90% of the time, doing half the work you are right now is what's going to scale your business. It's simple. It comes down to owning your business instead of running it. Okay, so essentially this is a challenge, and now this is a justification. And honestly, if we're going through this and being completely honest and subjective, I messed up, I think. Yeah, I messed up. Doubling your income doesn't mean doubling your workload. In fact, 90% of the time, doing half the work you are right now is what's going to scale your business. It's simple. So I didn't really put a strong what's in it for me. So the strong what's in it for me could simply just be, here's exactly how. Now, even this what's in it for me is not as obvious as it could be. So 90% of the time, doing half the work you are right now is what's going to scale your business. Here's exactly how. I mean, it is actually a good what's in it for me, because I'm essentially showing you or telling you, here's how you can double your business while doing half the work, right? Whereas before, it was a little bit more subtle, but you want it to be obvious. It comes down to owning your business instead of running it. Think of it like this. The owner of a restaurant makes the most money, but rarely do they know how to cook or serve. That's because they've built themselves a system that allows them to make huge profits while having little to no obligation. I'll actually just go like this. Huge profits while having little to no obligation. And while this sounds optimistic at best, our team at Scaling with Systems is able to routinely get results like these for our clients. Okay, so let me explain. There's a couple of different ways that you can go with justifications. So one, for example, you give them a whole bunch of stats. Well, you see here, 80% of the business owners who make over $10 million a year work less than 40 hours a week. And then you're like, damn, that's less than a regular 9 to 5, and they're making millions of dollars. I thought that in order to make millions and millions of dollars, you had to work 80 hours a week or 100 hours a week, but that's not actually the case. Okay, boom. So see how all these justifications are actually now backing up your claims, and you're giving people the belief shift. And after you shifted the beliefs, they're more susceptible to clicking on your links. Okay, so great. Another type of justification we can use, which is one we did right here, is called an analogy. An analogy is essentially creating a scenario, essentially off the top of your head, and using the lesson in that scenario to back up what you are saying and comparing and contrasting. So in this instance, we are actually using a restaurant business owner. So just like a restaurant, the owner of a restaurant, rarely do they know how to cook, or rarely are they even passionate about food at all. They're just somebody who wants to make money. So they bought a restaurant, they put all these systems in place, they hired some talent, and now they're making money. And you, my friend, can do the same thing with a complete end-to-end marketing system. And that's kind of how it works. That's because they built themselves a system that allows them to make huge profits while having little to no obligation. And while this sounds optimistic at best, so what I'm doing here is I'm essentially addressing their objections, right? So when you paint out a justification, or when you paint out a way of thinking, there's always going to be objections. An objection is simply someone trying to poke holes in your argument. So again, if I said a bro split sucked because you're not working out your muscles enough times each week, then the objection to that would be like, hey, wait a second, I thought the research shows that this actually is the best. Now I could counter with being like, well, that's the old research. The new research clearly states this, that, or the other thing, right? Full body workouts are the best, or whatever. But addressing their objections is also something else that's very powerful that you can use in your copy, which I do here. And while this sounds optimistic at best, right? Because it sounds a little bit too good to be true. You're telling me that people are really profiting off these businesses just by owning them and not actually working in them at all? Our team at Scaling with Systems is able to routinely get results like these for our clients. Take a look. And then I put right there a screenshot. It would be a screenshot of a whole bunch of other people making money with Ravi's Scaling with Systems and showing how they are now making twice the money while doing half the work. And if you're interested in having a results guaranteed marketing system placed in your business for you, we're looking for 6 more businesses to partner with to help scale. Click here to book a spot on our calendar. And then that's the link. Due to limited availability, all slots may be booked by the time you receive this email. If there's still times available, this is actually a misplaced modifier. If there's times still available, is what I meant to say. If there's times still available, consider booking as soon as you can. Ravi. Okay, so essentially the need. So this is where I prove it to them without a shadow of a doubt. Look, this is the way, right? Owning your business rather than trying to run your business. And the CTA is simply, if you're interested in having a results guaranteed, okay, so more of a risk reversal, this is essentially going to get more people interested, because the biggest objection that they'll have to actually booking is, well, what if it doesn't work, right? So addressing that objection by saying a result guaranteed marketing system placed in your business for you. We're looking for 6 more business owners to partner with to help scale. 6, of course, is scarcity. Now, scarcity and urgency are 2 things that are very important when it comes to marketing and copywriting. The reason as to why is because people don't act unless there's a reason for them to act right now. If they're like, yeah, that sounds good and I definitely want to do it, but I'll do it later. Later really means never. So here I use scarcity by saying we're only looking for 6. And then right here, I use urgency because I'm saying the spots to actually book a call might be used up by the time you get this email. So that's double urgency, right? I use urgency and scarcity in the same email. You can do that as well. Something important to note is that when you use scarcity and urgency, it has to be genuine. There's like people say, and I've used this before. People are like, oh, well, you better get my online course, or you better get my ebook because we're running out of supplies. It's like, how do you run out of supplies on an ebook? It doesn't make any sense, right? But if you actually make it make sense, then of course it's gonna work a lot better. So for this one, for example, where I say, due to limited availability, all slots may be booked. That's true. It's straight up true. Maybe all spots are booked. Maybe there literally is limited availability. So you have to actually tell them that, right? Boom. Okay, so that's promotion email. And last but certainly not least, we have our story email, my friend. So here's the angle we're going to be using for our story email. Zach, and again, I got this whole story. This whole story is true. So you never want to make up stuff for your clients or for the people you're writing for. You want to just straight up just write it regularly, like take stuff from their Instagram, because it's all right there. I mean, all the content you could ever want, all the stuff is just right there waiting for you. So Zach is a friend and a client that coaches personal fitness trainers. He started at $40K a month, but he was getting clients by constantly posting to his Instagram. We built him an end-to-end marketing system that used paid ads in order to generate him qualified appointments so he never had to post again. Now he's finally hit a millionaire status with over $1 million in his bank account. And we could do the same for you and guarantee profit. Okay, so I decided to go for a story angle, testimonial basically, and giving him a testimonial and also doing pretty much a promotion at the end to joining Scaling with Systems. The structure we're going to be using is hook, story, offer, but because that's a very generic type of structure, I've changed it into result, bridge gap, and then offer. I've spoken about this a little bit before on the channel, but every single structure is comprised of other structures, if that makes any sense. And it sounds complicated, but it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. So hook, story, offer essentially is like a hook, just like the name suggests, a story, and then an offer. And the biggest question that beginners ask are, yeah, but how? Yeah, but how do I make a hook? Yeah, but how do I write the story? So results, bridge gap, offer is more of a specific type of structure. So I'm going to give them the result that he got. So he went from having to post multiple times every single day on Instagram, feeling like he was some sort of fitness influencer, batching his content and basically just working when he didn't actually have to, all the way to making $1 million and having $1 million in his bank account and never having to post on social media again. How was he able to do that? Well, and then it bridges the gap. This is exactly how he did it and how you can do it as well. And then it gives them the offer. If you want us to do this for you, then click here to join our Scaling with Systems. So here I go. I'm going to be writing the email right now. Okay, and pazam, there we are. There is our email. So let's just go through it. Subject line, he made $1 million without posting content. Boom. And then another thing that I actually like to do with these types of subject lines is simply put ... He made $1 million without posting content? ? Because it kind of makes people feel like, I don't know, did he? In my experience, it's boosted the open rate just a little bit. So there's a small little trick and tactic for you right there. Recently, our client Zach went from being forced to post content for clients to hitting $1 million in his bank account while never having to post again. So forced to post content for clients makes it sound like the clients are forcing him to post content. So I'm going to change that and make it make a little bit more sense. Recently, our client, Zach, went from being forced to post content to get clients to hitting $1 million in his bank account while never having to post again. Here's exactly how you can copy him and do the same. See, Zach was a personal fitness business consultant. I'll just put personal fitness consultant. I'll put that. Was a personal fitness consultant who hit a wall when it came to output. So as you can see, when I make my rough draft, I'm serious. It's a straight rough draft, right? I just brain dump on the page. Zach is, as a personal fitness consultant who hit a wall, Zach was, I'll just put is. See, Zach is a personal fitness consultant who hit a wall when it came to output. Posting 3 times a day on Instagram, manually sifting through DMs and constantly chasing views. And when he came to us, I'm going to make this shorter because here's another lesson. So see how there's kind of like a longer line, and a longer line? We want to do what's called the wavy wave method, okay? So we want longer lines kind of surrounded by some shorter lines. So as we can see here now, it's more broken up. And when he came to us, his main goal was to put an end to the dreaded revenue feast and famine cycles. So we built him a top to bottom marketing system that leveraged ads to do the heavy lifting for him. Boom. And in just a couple of months, Zach was making more money than ever while never needing to post on Instagram to get clients again. He now essentially owns a machine that he can put $1 in and consistently get $19 out. The best part is he didn't waste a fortune to crack paid ads, as in to become profitable. He never has to worry about where his next client is coming from, and he no longer has to chase views in order to make money. If this is the type of marketing system you'd like placed within your business, click the link to book a call with my team. And then, of course, this is the CTA. Boom. If you're accepted into the program, you can expect similar results to Zach and guarantee profit or you don't pay. I'll just put it like this: guarantee profit or you don't pay. Bam. Just like that. Risk reversal, baby. Click the link to book a call while slots still last. So just a small bit of urgency right there. Nothing crazy. You don't want to overuse it. So I used it already in the last one, so I'm not going to harp on it. I'm just going to say, click the link while you can get a slot. Now, again, this is a more basic email. I could ChatGPT this and use the exact same prompts that I previously gave to you guys. So let's go through the structure here. So the result is he went from this to this, and here's exactly how you can copy him and do the same. Boom. So essentially the result is the type of hook that you offer. Now, again, you can use tons of different types of hooks, but right here we're using the result. Next comes the intrigue part, which is to bridge the gap. Now you want to know, well, how exactly did he do this? Well, he created a whole marketing system where now he leverages ads so that he only essentially needed to record one ad, and now he's just making money and money and money and money. He can turn it up, he can turn it down, he can turn it off, he can turn it off, he can do whatever he wants with it. He now essentially owns a machine that he can put $1 in and consistently get $19 out. And again, this is very Ravi language right there. This is like basically exactly how he speaks. The best part is he didn't waste a fortune to crack paid ads. He never has to worry about where his next client's coming from, and he no longer has to chase views in order to make money. So this type of stuff, again, this was all from just these short 7 points. These short 7 points is basically what I made all of this after. And I could even do it again, right? I could even go here and take this and put it down there. I didn't end up using this part, and I essentially used this part right here in that email. But as you can see, I'm relating with the reader as well. And someone who's completely brand new at copywriting, like you may be right now, you will get this with time. At first, it might be difficult. Well, how do I get into my client's head? I don't really know. Again, you can just copy the client, whoever you're writing for, but I've been in this niche for a while, so some of it was off the dome. So he didn't have to waste a fortune to crack paid ads. That's something that coaches commonly don't want to face, right? That's why they're so scared of ads. Never has to worry about where his next client is coming from. Again, that's what they like as well. And the feast and famine cycles is something else that plagues entrepreneurs and business owners. No longer has to chase views in order to make money. Another thing that most business owners feel. Again, I'm saying all this stuff and it's all related to how they feel and entering the conversation that's inside of their head. So if this is something that you would like, click here to book a call with my team. CTA is all just very quite basic, right? But when I said writing simple emails that will make you $200 to $300 each, I was not kidding, okay? Super simple. Anybody who's watching this right now could easily come up with something just as good. So that is the exact process for my boy, Ravi Abuvala. Now, as you can see here, I have 2 more clients that I have written emails for that we're not going to get to today. But if you guys blow up this video in the likes and the comments, then maybe I'll be forced to release what I actually created for these guys. So Brock Johnson and also my boy, Dr. Mike. 2 other clients that I made 3 more emails for. That's 6 more email walkthroughs that you guys can get access to. But now I want to talk about the next steps on how to get to your first $1,000 client in 15 days. And you might be thinking, well, $1,000 in 15 days? But Tyson, I just started. How can I get a $1,000 client in just 15 days? Well, my friends, it's happened. And it happens, right? So these are from the recent challenge that I ran called the 15-day first client challenge that you can actually go back and watch on my channel, or you can just watch it in the free copy starter kit, and all of the resources to that video are in there as well. So it would be more streamlined. $1,000 client right there. And I think this is a completely different one. Bren, another $1,000 client right there, $1,000 client right here, and another $1,000 client right here, and yet another $1,350 client right here. And I could go on and on and on. These are all wins from the free 40 copywriting Discord, which is, again, all that stuff is down in the description. So you can go watch that, or you could watch the free 15-day course on YouTube. I'll put it on screen now. Anyways, guys, that is it for today. And of course, I will see you on the next one. Peace.